Have you ever found yourself in a situation where everything around you seems chaotic and you feel the pressure to speak, to act, to explain yourself? The world is full of noise, isn't it? Everyone is talking, sharing opinions, and fighting to be heard. But have you ever considered the power of silence? Not silence from fear and security, but silence from strength, from wisdom, from a place of inner peace. What if the best way to deal with the chaos around you wasn't to add more noise, but to withdraw into silence? What if by doing less you could achieve more? Today we'll explore the concept of confusing others with your silence. Let's dive deep into the unexpected strength of silence. In today's world, there is a constant pressure to speak up. Everywhere you look, people are talking, whether it's on social media, in meetings, at parties, or in daily interactions. The loudest voices often get the most attention. The ones who can stand out in a crowd are those who can speak the loudest, the fastest, and the most confidently. But let me ask you this: when everyone is speaking, who is actually listening? When everyone is shouting to be heard, does anyone truly hear? The truth is, sometimes our need to speak out can lead to unnecessary noise. We often feel the pressure to defend ourselves, justify actions, or correct others. But here's the catch: speaking for the sake of being heard doesn't always help you. In fact, it might even harm you. Here's the thing about silence: it's not about saying nothing because you have nothing to say. Silence is about restraint, knowing when to speak and when not to. It's about being mindful of your words and understanding that sometimes not speaking is more powerful than speaking. Restraint gives you control. When you choose silence, you're not being weak or passive. You're being strategic. You're choosing to let your actions speak for you. You're saying, I don't need to explain myself because I know my worth. The truth is, silence can be more revealing than words ever could. It lets others wonder what you're thinking. It creates curiosity, and with curiosity comes respect. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is that it protects your peace. When you argue or try to defend yourself, you expose yourself. You're essentially giving people the ammunition they need to hurt you. But when you remain silent, you maintain control of the situation. Silence is a form of protection. It keeps you from getting entangled in unnecessary conflicts. It allows you to stay focused on your goals rather than being distracted by petty disagreements. And, importantly, silence saves you from saying things in anger or frustration that you might regret later. When you refuse to engage in every argument or dispute, you protect your energy. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. And that is power. You may be wondering, doesn't silence make you seem weak? Doesn't it make you appear like you're afraid to speak up? In reality, the opposite is true. Silence, when chosen consciously, shows immense confidence. It shows that you don't need validation from others. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to win every argument. Instead, you let your presence speak for you. Your silence says, I am secure in who I am. I don't need to prove anything to you. Confidence doesn't need to shout. It simply exists. And silence can be a powerful way to express that confidence. In a world that is obsessed with talking, saying nothing can be incredibly powerful. You don't need to respond to every provocation. You don't need to offer an explanation for your actions. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. When you choose to say nothing, you stop feeding the negativity around you. You refuse to let others pull you into their drama. You keep your energy intact. And that's incredibly empowering. Imagine how much more peaceful your life could be if you simply didn't engage in every conversation or argument. What if you let silence be your response, instead of getting caught up in a never-ending cycle of justifying yourself? There's an interesting thing about silence. It creates mystery. When you don't reveal everything about yourself, when you don't talk about every detail of your life, people become curious. They wonder what's going on inside your mind. They start asking questions, trying to figure you out. People are naturally drawn to mystery. They want to know what's behind the silence. They want to understand you. And when they can't figure you out, they start to respect you more, because silence gives them something to chase. When you constantly reveal everything about yourself, there's nothing left to discover. But when you keep things to yourself, you spark curiosity. People will start respecting you because they can't predict you. And that unpredictability is powerful. Silence isn't about withdrawing completely from the world. It's about knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet. Mastering the art of silence is about picking the right moments to use your words and the right moments to hold them back. There's a time for action and a time for silence. There's a time to step up and be heard, and there's a time to step back and observe. The key is to know the difference. Silence becomes your ally when you use it wisely. It allows you to observe, think, and respond in the best possible way, rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally. One of the greatest benefits of silence is that it helps you avoid regret. How many times have you said something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Words have the power to wound, and once they're spoken, you can't take them back. But silence is a shield. It allows you to protect yourself from making impulsive decisions that you might regret. When you choose silence, you give yourself time to think, to reflect, and to decide the best course of action. By mastering silence, you prevent the risk of hurting others or yourself with words you don't mean. You give yourself the space to make better decisions. Silence doesn't mean you have to be passive. In fact, it gives you a unique opportunity to observe. When you're silent, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're taking in everything around you. This ability to observe is priceless. It allows you to understand people better, to pick up on subtle cues, and to see things from different perspectives. The more you observe, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the more equipped you are to handle any situation that comes your way. In a world where everyone is talking, the silent observer is often the most powerful player in the room. Silence builds inner strength. It allows you to become comfortable with yourself. When you're silent, you're forced to face your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own emotions. You can no longer hide behind words or distractions. This process of self-reflection can be uncomfortable at times, but it's also incredibly rewarding. It allows you to build emotional resilience, to strengthen your character, and to develop a deep sense of self-awareness. By embracing silence, you're building a foundation of inner strength that can carry you through life's toughest challenges. There's an ancient saying, silence is the language of God, all else is poor translation. In many spiritual traditions, silence is seen as a pathway to deeper wisdom. It's in the quiet moments that you can hear your inner voice, that you can tap into the wisdom that lies within you. When you embrace silence, you're not just protecting your peace, you're also connecting with something greater than yourself. You're opening yourself up to a deeper understanding of the world and of your place within it. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of wisdom, of clarity, and of truth. So, what have we learned? Silence is not something to fear. It's a tool to be used strategically. It can protect your peace, build your confidence, and create a sense of mystery around you. It allows you to observe the world with a clearer mind, to reflect on your own thoughts, and to make better decisions. In a world that constantly demands your attention, silence is a powerful form of self-respect. It says, I don't need to shout to be heard. My actions speak louder than my words ever could. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to speak, remember the power of silence. It's not the absence of communication, it's the presence of self-control. It's the ultimate tool for confusion, and it might just be the key to unlocking your greatest strength. Thank you for watching. Remember, silence is not about avoiding communication, it's about communicating in the most powerful way possible. So, keep them guessing, keep them curious, and let your silence speak volumes. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, keep your peace, stay focused, and let your actions do the talking. See you in the next video.